Good morning all. I hope you are able to hear me and you are able to see my screen. If anyone has any issue with my voice, please let me know. So in last session, we started with the time intelligence functions, and thereafter yesterday I want to close it, but because of some other reasons we are unable to continue. Like we will continue with the remaining functions and we will close it now. So far we are done with MTD, QTD, YTD. Then after the parallel period function, which is going to give that on the on the same month or same quarter, same year, like 2 years back, 3 years back, or next year, what are the sales that we have, it is going to give with the help of parallel period function. And start of a month, start of a quarter, start of an year, which is going to give the starting values of that month, quarter, or year we observed. And same period last year, which is nothing but it is similar to parallel period, but it is going to give the data for last year. Okay, last year this month, or last year this day, or last year this quarter, last year, what are the sales it is going to give you. Now the next functions are closing balance month. So here new measure closing balance of a month calculate thereafter amount. Here the closing balance month amount and full date alternative key. Closing balance of a month so closing balance of a month, what it is going to give you is what is the, like in that month on a last day of a month, how much data that you have that is going to return. Okay, in order to understand that one, let me remove all the unnecessary items that we have over here. So dates, parallel period we don't require, swim require, same period last year we don't require, MTD, QTD, YTD, and let me bring that day level data. So here you can see that what is the last day of a month. So amount, this is the amount column, we are representing individual values. So here your closing balance represents a value which is nothing but in that month what is the last value. In that month, whatever the last value that you have, that was represented over the complete month. For a July, and August it was represented as a 2859, so which is nothing but that is the last value of that month, 2859. Similarly, September 35782, it is nothing but the last day of a September month, 35782. and October 6570, which is nothing but the last day of that month. So here closing balance of a month returns closing balance in that month last day. What is the value it is going to represent in that month last day? Whatever the value that you have, that was represented over here. That is what closing balance of a month. The next function that you have is closing balance of a quarter. Closing balance of a quarter. So closing balance of a quarter, like balance quarter, here the amount and date, full date alternative key. I am specifying a single decimal. So decimal, a single, thousand separator, fine. So what it is going to give you is, in that quarter, what is the last day, what it is going to contain. So July, August, September. September is a quarter, and so what, 35,787,782 is the value. So for the complete quarter, the same value it is going to represent for that one. See, for a July 35,782 representing July, August it is representing the same, and September. So for the complete quarter, whatever as part of that quarter end date, whatever the value it is representing, it is going to showcase here. And similarly, October, November and December, it is representing a value called 22, which is nothing but that December 31st you are having a 22,000. So that is why it is representing the last day in the quarter value, that is closing balance quarter. And the next one is closing balance year, which is nothing but last day of an year, it will be returned. So what it is returning is last day of an year. So in that year 2015, it is giving 22,168, which means on a December 31st we have a value called 22,000. That value for the complete year it was returning. So that is what the closing balance function. So closing balance function is going to return the last day value of a month or a quarter or a year based on the function that you are using. If it is a month, specific month, on that month last day, what is the value you are getting. Quarter means on that quarter last day of that quarter what value you are getting, or a year means on that year the last day whatever you are getting for the complete year, it is going to represent. That is what closing balance functions. In the same way, you have opening balance functions are there. So those are, let me remove this closing balance. The next functions are opening balance, opening balance of a month, opening balance of a month, the same amount and full date alternative key. say number, 1 decimal, 1000 separator. Opening balance of a month. Similarly, let me write another function also at the same time. Thereafter, we'll have a discussion. Opening balance of a quarter. So, full date alternative here. So, we have a opening balance functions. The closing balance function, what it returned is the last day of a month it returned, whatever the value that you have. Now, opening balance function, it is going to give you opening balance month, the first day of a month, whatever the value that you have, it is going to return you with whatever the value that you are going to start. Okay, so what happened? So one second. Let me check that measure. Opening balance of a month. So opening balance of a month, amount and full date alternative here given. So yes. So you can see that the opening balance of a month, it is going to give you what is the last month value. Okay, with what value we started. So here it was August was started with this one, like last month, whatever the value that you have, 15012, it was getting represented over here. Okay, so with what value you started that month, so that is what last month value it is going to showcase. So August, you are able to see that the previous month the ending value, and September the last value over here it is representing, and October whatever you are having the value as part of September you are seeing. So as part of a closing balance, what you observed is in that same month, in this month, whatever the last value that you have, that was represented as part of closing balance. If anyone has a confusion on that complete month, whatever the last value that you have, that was represented as a closing balance. Opening balance is nothing but in a previous month, with whatever the value it was ended, that was represented as a opening balance. Okay, so with whatever the value it was end the previous month, it was represented as a opening balance over here. So the September 2859 is representing because it was ended with 2859. And similarly we have another function, opening balance of a quarter. Opening balance of a quarter, like July, before to July you don't have a quarter, that's why July, August, September it is not representing anything. But October, November and December, for that the quarter September ends with 35,000, so that 35,000 was represented. Okay, and December was ends with 22,000, that 22,000 was represented over here for the next 3 quarters. That is what opening balance of a quarter. In the same thing, opening balance year is nothing but previous year with what value it was at, it is going to represent. So that is what the closing balance of a month and opening balance of a month, those functions, those 6 functions. Anyone has any questions up to here? The next one is previous day, previous month, previous quarter, and a previous year. We have 4 functions are there. So previous day, amount. So now the previous day function is going to help you to calculate the last day value. So especially like here in this context, you can give the previous day values also, like previous day of full date alternative. Previous day, what it is going to give you is last date. So it was previous day function given. For this day, the previous day, whatever the value that you have, 14, 43, you can consider that amount column, not MTD, QTD, YTD. So let me remove those things also. Those are required for other things. Okay, fine. Here 14 was represented here, 13 was represented over here, 15 here, and this 15 here. So for this day, what is the previous day value? The previous day value is 14,313. 7855. The previous day is this one. So previous day function is going to give the previous day value, whatever the value that it was hold. Similarly, you have a previous month function is there. Previous month function. Previous month function. So here, calculate amount previous month of full date alternative here. So previous month function is going to give whatever the previous month value that it has. So you can see that the January or July, whatever the total that you have, that is what representing as part of August. Whatever the value that you have as part of August, that was represented for a September. Whatever the value you have for September, that was represented for a October. So the previous month function is going to contain the sum of the previous month values. Okay, so that is what previous month. And similarly, you have a previous quarter and previous year also. You measure previous quarter, calculate amount previous quarter, full date alternative key. See, So it is going to give the previous quarter information. In that quarter, these three values is some whatever you have. RQTD whatever you have value, that value represented. Right, the QTD is nothing but that quarter. For that quarter, this is the value that was represented for the next quarter. And similarly, this quarter whatever you have, it is representing as a next quarter. So previous quarter whatever the value that it has, it was represented. Similarly, you have a previous year function is there to represent a previous year values. Previous year, calculate that amount and amount previous year, and thereafter so here the full date alternative key is the primary key for it. A number 1000 separator 1. Previous year, for the 2005 you don't have anything, but for 2006 whatever the value that you have, that was represented, and 2007 whatever the value that you have, it is represented, and 2008 for 2007 whatever the value that you have, it was represented. So for a previous year whatever the values that we have, it was represented, or that is what previous year function. So those are the previous day, previous month, previous quarter and previous year functions which are going to represent the last day, last month, last quarter and last year information. Similarly, we have next day, next month, next quarter, next year functions. So it is a previous, and we have the next functions. The next functions are new measure, next day, calculate the amount, so next day after full date alternative. So here what is the next day value it is going to represent? Next day means you can see June we have last day, like it was represented here. From July, August, September, October, November, yeah, like we have only 6 months data. So here you can see that actually we don't have a June data. But now it is showcasing June 30th and the value represented. Why? Because we used a function called next day, which is going to represent next day information. As we have a July 1st information, so it is showcasing the next day, June 30th it was representing. And so what is the next day value? And like what is the next day value, which means July 1st value, it was represented. July 1st, what is the next day value? 13,000, it was represented. July 2nd, what is the next day value? 15,000, that was represented here. So if you want to see the next day value, you can use like this next day function. If you want to see the previous day value, we have a previous day function. So similarly, you have a function next day, next month. Next month. Next month. She is going to give the next month values. So in the July, what is the complete value? It's a 473. So there was a value represented over here. Similarly, for August, whatever the value that you have, that was represented over here. September, whatever the value that was represented to August. So next month values was represented here. So similarly, next quarter, whatever the next quarter value, you can see that as part of a QTD 182, that value will be represented to this one. Check, you can check that one. Next quarter, and amount. Here, sorry, calculate the amount next quarter. So for next quarter, whatever the value that you have, it will be represented. So now April, May, June came into picture to represent the data of that QTD like 1453, and these 3 months are representing a value of this quarter 1812, and 2006 is represent like October, November, December representing a value of 1791, which is nothing but 2017, like 2006, the first quarter information, the first quarter 1791. So if you want to represent a next quarter information, you can use that one. Similarly, next year function also is going to give the next year of whatever the data that you have, that will give you. So these are the functions that we have as part of a time intelligence. These are the functions that you have as part of a time intelligence. Now, first of all, what are all the functions that we written so far? You can see these are all the functions. Like out of it, like maximum, these are the more than sufficient functions, or these are the functions that we have as part of time intelligence, and we'll use these things. Along with that, as I said, MOM growth, YOY growth, like our YOY change, these are the functions we might represent as part of our reports. That I told that Kalpana will work on it and she will share that formulas. Okay, and another part is, as part of some of the requirements, you need to showcase the last 7 days of a data, last 7 days average, last 7 days sum, or last 7 days trend, whatever. You need to represent the last 7 days data. Whenever you are representing the last 7 days data, there are two approaches will be there. Okay, so you are going to calculate a measure, which means sum or average or whatever, min or max. Then after, you are going to get that primary key column and you are going to mention that boss last 30 days. It is going to give you the last 30 days. And sometimes it is going to, like you might require, as I said, instead of MTD means from the first day of a month. So today is 21st. If I calculate MTD, what is going to give? Last 20 days or till today, what is the sum it is going to give you? But I want to represent the last 30 days data. When I am representing the last 30 days of data, what you need to do is, you need to calculate a normal sum function like amount of what, however I calculated. You need to use that bar chart. You need to represent that bar chart and use that sum value, which is going to give the sum of last 3 years or 4 years, and we are going to provide the date column filter. On the date column we will take a last 30 days. That is the one way. If you want to represent last 30 days data information, you can use a date column and you can apply a filter on 30 days. If you want to calculate at the back end itself, in the back end itself you want to calculate last 30 days, at that time you are going to write a function, DAX function, saying that in the backend you are going to write a function saying that calculate, I want to calculate the sum. Here the date value, the full date alternative key greater than or equal to date add of the full date alternative key number of intervals 30 days and days minus 30. So what this expression is doing, it might be valid and invalid expression. So here what it is doing is, we want to calculate the sum for what are the days? The days whose, like generally, like we are going to have a date till today, and then after we are going to calculate 30 days back whatever the date. Okay, date minus 30 days whatever the date. So let's assume today is 21st January. Till 21st January we have the dates, continuous dates we have, and here we are calculating the dates till 30 days back, which is nothing but December 22nd. So whenever I add this function, like whenever I call December 22nd, it will return a maximum value. So it is going to take a values from this column whose value greater than December 22nd, which is nothing but last 30 days. Last 30 days it is going to filter at your model level and it is going to display the data. So now click on last 30 days and number. If this function works, what NQ? So if this function works, next quarter, okay, last 30 days, if this the query didn't run, the data model couldn't be accessed here. One second, there was some issues there, no problem. The next day, last 30 days, the query didn't run on the data model couldn't be accessed. Here is an error message, MDX script, the calculation error message. Okay, it is saying that data is having some concerns, but last 30 calculate has been used in the true or false expression will work. One second. Calculate the amount function. Then after we want to get last 30 days. The filter. Okay, so it don't require. It is having some issue. We'll check this one later. So we'll see this one later, like tomorrow. We'll see. So this is another scenario where we are going to use to represent the last n number of days. The last n number of days you can make it with respect to report level, which is nothing but, just give me a second. So whenever we calculate the last 30 days average or last 7 days. Okay, last 30 days average or last 7 days, if I calculate, I keep a filter date top 7 by earliest. You can keep a filter over here. Or whenever I am calculating the last 30 days, I can mention the top 30 days. This is if you want to keep a filter at a report level. Okay, if you are having a proper model, you can calculate a measure and you can represent the value and you can mention that was last 30 days, or last 7 days, or last 15 days. But sometimes you don't want to apply a filter over here. If you want to apply a filter in the back end, you can apply with the help of the calculate function. However, we tried, which is having some issue. Like we'll check that one as part of next session. So the last day value or last 30 days value, last 15 days value, or last 45 days values, you can mention with the help of that function. We'll see that one tomorrow. So other than that, any questions you have? That's it regarding the time intelligence functions. And we have done all the time intelligence functions. In the next session, we'll continue with the filter functions. We'll try to close the filter functions in the next session. We'll continue towards the security. So anyone has any questions on it? Arpit, Jahnavi, Kalpana, Srinivas. Srinivas. Speak loud, Srinivas.
Hello?
Yes, Srinivas.
Yeah, the function is the opening balance of month is equal to the next month's result.
No, last month value. Last month, last day value it was written, right?
Yeah.
Hmm.
The both our results are equal. No, 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 no. Just checking fix that. The
One
opening
second.
opening opening balance of the month and the next month. The two queries.
No, like opening balance of a month and the last month, and which means the previous month, both values are same, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So at that instance, it might be same. But what about opening balance of a quarter? Opening balance of a quarter and last quarter, both are same. Previous quarter is both are same.
Yeah, both are same.
How it is both are same? So I think I will share in the next 1 hour of a time. I forgot that one. So one second. Srinivas. So I understood that opening balance which returns the last day of a month, previous month is going to return. So in whatever the context, opening balance of a month and what is the other one? The previous month function, previous month function return the same value you are returning. You're asking that question,
Yes.
Srinivas.
Yes.
So
It is
opening Chapan
opening
Srinivas.
balance of opening balance of a month.
Hmm.
The value is equal to the calculating field is the next month. Next month is I mean
So let's see. Let me open that functions in stuff here. So as we have that Excel. So what are the functions that you want to me to pick there? One second. My Excel got hung. That opening balance of a month is going to give the last day value, Srinivas, and the another one that you are representing is the previous. It is no, like only one scenario it might contain the last. For that date, previous date is going to give that one. Whatever you are referring called next month. Next month is going to contain refer the complete next month information. Right? Previous
okay.
month previous month is going to give the complete previous month information. But opening balance is going to give the last month, the last date information. Right or not?
Last, last month, last date.
Yes, you are saying that last month, last date opening balance is going to return, and you are saying that the same value is equivalent to next month. Is it?
Yeah.
Next month function is going to return the complete next month details, right?
Yeah. As,
How those two are same?
actually, the result is saying that actually is a July month result that
Hmm.
will be that will be
Hmm.
is
Hmm.
a June month result. The query we are writing that is a
And, hmm. So just a second. I'm not sure why it has some issue with Excel. My Excel got hung, like it has some issue with that. But anyways, we will validate this one as part of this Excel in next session, Srinivas. Evening today, evening we are going to connect, right? In our annual session. So at that time we'll validate. Okay?
Okay.
Yeah. Bye.
హలో
Yes, yes, Krishna.
శ్రీనివాస్, మీరు ఒక రిక్వైర్మెంట్ ఇచ్చారు కదా.